who's Wandile Mthiyane, where's he from, and yeah, let's start from there.
Yeah, my name is Wandile Mthiyane. I am from KwaMashu in Durban, South Africa. I grew up moving around Durban, different townships and informal settlements, and at a very young age, I saw that at the core of the key challenges within low-income communities was the lack of dignified housing. So I made it my mission in life to become an architect. I worked hard, ended up studying in boarding school in Zimbabwe and then went to college in the United States, in Michigan. It's a school called Andrews University. I studied my undergrad and master's there. Whilst there, I started a company called Ubuntu Design Group, which is a company that helps people design, build their dream homes using AI, where you can text your dream home, text prompt, use a Pinterest board or other reference images, and then boom, your house comes out with the pricing of how much it would cost, and then you connect it to the architect and the builder to make it to life. So my whole mission has been around democratizing access to dignified housing based on the pain points that I felt growing up, and that's what I grew able to.
That's very an interesting journey you had. Obviously, you met Obama at the age of 25, which was kind of an interesting journey in those. Was it the 25,000 applications that was received by the organization? You know, one of the how many South Africans really that entered into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there were 15 or 20 of us. But yeah, why not?
Okay, so I just wanted to ask your viewpoints in that concept you said about designing architectural designs or homes, good homes, right, for
Right.
low-income communities. Don't you think it's overrated to build well-established houses for Black South Africans?
Don't I think it's overrated
Don't you
to
think
do
it's
what?
overrated? Yeah, to build well-established homes for low-income communities. Yes,
Are you saying
it's
overrated
overrated.
because there's RDP? Is that what you think?
No, I want to hear your viewpoints on that thing you said on that article about building integrity, right? For those, especially for a man, right? You might say, Ish, I'm living in this home, I don't feel good about myself, etc. But I want to hear your points. Is it just building for the sake of building to make it fit, looking good for the owner of the home, or is it just a different aspect?
Yeah, look, I think that a home is an extension of who you are. I think Churchill puts it best when he says, "We shape our buildings thereafter they shape us. They shape who we are." So we want to shape dignified spaces that will, in turn, influence how we show up in the world. Apartheid architecture shaped spaces that were crammed and made us sort of like quasi-slaves. Uh, and that's affected who we are. So I want to shape spaces that liberates, that allow for opportunity and for growth.
Oh, another question I have, do you find that architectural design is exclusive to certain groups of cultures or ethnicities, right, in the South African context? Because I read an article that initially, I think it cited you at some point. I don't know if you were a co-author, but it goes on and says that across the globe, right, we're seeing a silent crisis in our cities, um, whether it's rising mental health struggles triggered not only by socio-economic pressures, but by the very spaces we inhabit. Cramped apartments stained into glass and still towers. Too many buildings feel like containers, not communities. in the South African township, it's common to find thousands living in dense impact homes with little access to public parks, playgrounds, or safe communities. That's why I was actually citing that thing about men not getting integrity, right? Because I'm living in this small, dense space, and the other guy, he has this big home. So because men are always I find men very competitive creatures. You're driving a nice car, you're so smart in class, or is it just um, the clothes you're wearing as a person? I want to hear your viewpoints on that aspect of um, building homes. Because me as a person, right, I'm just seeing a white person in that certain space or area, and I might feel that he's a bit above me in the hierarchy, right? He looks a certain way, speaks a certain way. He's pretty much better than me, but I'm as an African child, how should those, so since you're building those homes, you're actually revolutionizing or democratizing that aspect, right?
I mean, I don't think any white person is better than you. Uh, they may have inherited more wealth than you, and that wealth is tied to the oppression of your own ancestors. So it's not even necessarily merited. Um, Look, I think we all live in houses. The same way a white person deserves a dignified place to call home, you also deserve a dignified place to call home. And that's why I'm trying to democratize what was once only reserved for a minority few to now be accessible to all of us.
In the entrepreneurial landscape, why did you design the Ubuntu Design Group? Was it because you could have chosen to work in an industry, right, of the work environment? You could have just chosen to just say, hey, ngizohamba ngiyo-apply lapha endaweni thizeni and get a job, right? Why, what made the passion, what ignites the passion to venture into entrepreneurship and build your own enterprise, the Ubuntu Design Group?
And I think, I mean, having grown up from the novels to KwaMashu and Boom, Protesta, Langelihle made me want to have a great sense of urgency towards solving the problem of housing. So I wanted to do it myself, and that's why I went and studied architecture.
Any advice for any aspiring entrepreneurs who's looking up to Wandile Mthiyane, who wants to venture into that field, architectural design, going overseas, meeting Obama, and all that stuff? Who's just looking now, just saying, "Ish, nami ngiyafuna ukulandela la ndlela ethathe uWandile Mthiyane today."
Yeah, if you do it because of money, if you're doing it because of nice clothes or nice car or any of the cosmetic things that are external, as you were mentioning, you're not going to go far. But if you're solving a problem that you deeply care about, it's only then I believe you're able to really go far and create something as powerful as an Airbnb or Facebook, etc. And that's kind of what I aspire to do. I don't really care what people think about what I dress or where I live or what I drive, but I do deeply care about solving the problem of housing. And I think when you find something you care about so much that there's nothing else you'd rather do, that's something special and worth holding on to and working on and spending your life really trying to figure it out.
Since you're from
Yeah.
KwaMashu, right? Since you're from KwaMashu, Kasi, I'm just asking this one more question before we close off. I want to dig into your social background, and maybe it's going to be a bit personal, but I want to ask since traveling and meeting various smart people overseas, I'm sure you did, and their mentality and how they conceptualize ideas, how they think, how they try to become great, right? Because I'm sure people out there who's applied to those industries and those organizations that you've been on and stuff, they must think differently. But now you're coming back to this place where it's a high profile place, but it's in a negative way. It's a high profile place, but it's in a negative way viewed, by the masses, right? I want to understand how has that affected you? How has that affected your thinking when you're actually going back to speak to your surroundings, your fellow friends, right, your peers who are still stuck in that same bracket of thinking, hey, something happening in a sense of words, but your
Yeah,
mindset obviously now yeah, everywhere you are, people are saying, "Ish, let's build a new project," but now you're coming back, KwaMashu, and people are saying, "Ish, asam so bambi court."
right. No, look, I think we ought to have grace because you don't know what you don't know, right? So I have the privilege of having traveled around the world, learned different things, and that shaped how I think and how I move. And I hope in some ways other people can look at that the right things that I do are the good things that I do because I don't only do good things like anyone else. I have flaws and they can learn from them, and I can also learn from what they're doing. But that's a really good question. I don't know if I have an answer for it. I think the challenge that I face and just have to navigate with constantly reminding myself of context and the privileges that I've had versus some of my friends, family, other coffee.
Thank you so much, man. It's been lovely having you on the platform. I hope in the future we can actually have a sit down in a perfectly put studio and cameras so that we can actually dive deep into these conversations a bit more.
Yeah, man, I just want to say I'm proud of you because the podcast is not about gender wars or relationships or what goes on. It's about something productive and